Hey everybody, Mags here. We are going to review some of the hints and tips that we've been given this year on the Dynasty Hot Seat. If you are new here, do me a favor, can you like, comment, share on this video for me, please, like you can see here. And then also if you're new here, why not hit that subscribe button too? It really helps out. Right, on to the hints and tips.
And I kind of took the approach of looking more at trades this go around because there's a lot of people who are probably thinking about trades, dealing with trades, and me and Jim were on a couple weeks ago and we were talking about values, just specific player values, and trying to decipher, you know, what you should do, how to make a good trade, the art of the trade. So we were just picking random trades that were happening in our leagues, and we were looking at them and kind of giving advice and looking at the values. So my first piece of advice, and I know because there's a lot of people, there's a lot of people within the community with a bit of an ego sometimes, you know, and they don't like to look for other people's help. They don't like to reach out because they like to think they know everything. But that's my biggest piece of advice, is don't be afraid to get the outside opinions on trade offers you have doubts about. Fantasy football, to me, it's as much about winning money and taking people's money as it is finding and being part of a community. And I think that's one of the big things through Twitter. I mean, we're in a retweet group, and that's how we all met. That's how me and you came together and got this opportunity. But it's important to get outside opinions sometimes, because we all have our favoritism. We all have our leans towards one direction or the other based on specific players, or based on a specific team or a position. And sometimes it helps. And I know I have a couple group chats that I go to always talk out a trade, because even if I think it's a smash, sometimes maybe there's something that I missed that somebody else wants to tell me, or that somebody else saw. So it's always good to get that second, even a third opinion, to make sure that the trade is what you think it is, or the trade is what you feel it is.
Yeah, I really like that as advice. It's just like, don't assume you're like the number one expert. I mean, I've been doing that loads. I've recently just joined up, you know, a new league, and it's really like IDP heavy, and I'm no expert, you know, when it comes to IDP. So I've been reaching out to loads of different people, you know, asking what their opinions are, you know, on that in particular, because, you know, I know I'm not an expert on it, and I'm not going to pretend to be. So yeah, use this amazing community and like all of the people in it, because everyone has been so generous with their time and so generous with their, you know, opinions, that it would be a real shame for you not to use that great community that's there.
Absolutely. Second piece of advice, don't fixate on my guys. I'm sure it's something that a lot of people say, and it's something that a lot of people give as advice, because there are some people who will share their screen where it shows how invested they are in specific players in specific leagues, that tool. And you see guys who are invested 90, 80, 90, 100% on one player, and you see the tweets about that player, and they're talking up this player, and they got this insane value on this player. It's such a closed-minded approach that can also cause individuals to close off trade business because you're too high on a guy, or you're not willing to negotiate, or you're not willing to hear other opinions on the guys. Not everybody is going to be right. And as much as when I scour Twitter, there's this belief that there's going to be 48 top 24 wide receivers. At the end of the year, there's only 24 wide receivers, and that doesn't change. Same as the running back position, same as top 12 tight ends. As much as punt the tight end, and people would have you believe there's 24 top 12 tight ends, there are a ton of guys with the potential to get there. And we know that. We love to talk about them because it's the easiest position to just punt away and draft in round 12, 13, 14 and get a value. But it doesn't always happen that way. So don't fixate on the my guys. I think that's a big one. And you never want to create this reluctance within your league to trade with you because of how you value specific players. And that, to me, that's a big thing, because I see so many people. This is a time of year where people love the my guys. They see, you know, Paris Campbell, he's getting hype in camp. He could be the wide receiver 1, likely the wide receiver 2 to Michael Pittman, obviously. But what's the floor like for him? What's the ceiling like? Could there be another freak injury? There's so many different things that you have to take into account that you can't just fixate on the my guy and have people in your league not want to do business, and you have this insane value on a guy that you're going to end up stuck with. So that would be my second piece of advice.
Yeah, I really like that as well. You gotta, like sometimes people ask me, I'll get like messages like sometimes in different leagues, and they'll be like, "Hey, like, who's for sale?" Or like, "Is this person for sale?" I'm like, everyone's for sale. Like every person, you can buy anyone from me. Like if you give me the right price, absolutely. There's no one that's off limits. You can't have players off limits. You can't like close people off, even if they are your guy. Like you got to be able to sell if the right offer comes along.
Yeah, you definitely have to kind of know the value of your guy as well, which some people, I think they know the value and then they times it by a certain amount. It feels like, so you don't ever want to do that. And that would probably be my third and my final piece of advice. I'll keep it short and sweet, is don't be afraid to change values. Don't fixate on a value of like, I don't know, Jamar Chase. I mean, Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson would be bad examples, but like some people might be like they're 4 times firsts or value or whatever. You could be it could be a 3 times first value, and don't fixate on the rookie draft, because a lot of people love the rookie draft. They're like, oh, that first round pick, I got to get that first round pick, or I got to get 2 firsts plus I'll take a player, or 3 firsts plus I'll take a player. Some players within the league have a value or have even more value than a first round pick at the end of the day. And for me, there's too many people who sit there and would rather, especially in this draft class that's coming up, so many people love the value. They think there's so much value there. And granted, yes, at the running back position, there's probably going to be a lot of great guys come out of this class, and I'm not going to deny that. At the wide receiver position, it could be similar to this year. And this year, we're all arguing, we're fighting over 5 or 6 wide receivers. And the reality of the situation is, for the first 3 years in the league, we're probably looking at only a couple guys out of this draft class being top 24 wide receivers. And it's just a reality that people don't fully realize and don't fully grasp yet. So always be willing to kind of change your value and have different values. I always try to think of things with a 3-year mindset. Think about the 3-year value on a guy. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? What's the situation look like where they are? Like you look at like Mike Evans, you look at Keenan Allen, you look at some of these guys who are 29 going on 30, and look at the 3-year window with them and the opportunities that exist for them. A guy like Chris Godwin jumps off the page to me. He's had some bad luck with a couple of injuries, but the direction is trending so well for him in Tampa Bay, especially now that he's under a new contract and stuff. That there's things to look at. You look at the contracts, you look at the situations, you look at who's going to be free agents, the landscape of, is the team going to be good or is the team going to be bad? Are they going to be buyers? Are they going to be sellers? There's so much to think about.
Much.
But you have to take it all into account, or at least attempt to take it all into account so that you can build the right team, so that you can win more than one time. You don't just want to win your league one time. You want to win the league multiple times and win it for multiple years and control it for multiple years. Because you always talk about running backs too. That's a big one. The cliff, the age 27, that's the cliff that look out for it. The running back dead zone and stuff. But there's also values in some of those guys as well. You just have to be very careful about who you're looking at. Like when I look at Cam Akers, I hate the value that he is right now. It's dropping a bit. It's getting better. But that's a guy like, we never saw Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers together, what that tandem is going to look like. So no one can say with any type of certainty of A, what the situation is going to look like, and B, how much better Cam Akers is going to be, because obviously the reports are he's 100%, or he's at 100%, or even better than before he tore his Achilles. But if you talk to people who know the medical stuff, always make sure you have a good medical follow.
Yeah.
Because we had Edwin Porras on the show a couple weeks ago, and we talked about Cam Akers. You can sit there and watch videos and think that things look a lot better, but we can't deny the fact that a game situation is so much more different. Look at what happened with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott ran the ball like 100 less times this past year coming off that fractured ankle, because there's a reluctance to run the ball. There's a reluctance to really run right into a pack. You want to look for a way around it and stuff. So in a long-winded way, you have to look at a lot of circumstances. You don't have to have a 3-year window like me. You can think of a 1-year window. You can think of whatever type of window you want, but be willing to adjust your values. And that's a good way to figure out how to adjust your values. Because this year, Mike Evans might be worth this. Next year, he's worth that. And in year 3, he's probably worth a significant portion less because he's going to be 32, 33 years old. So those are the types of things you have to think of. That's why I like the window, because I want my max value early, but I understand if I don't get my max value in a certain window, it might go down after that. So you have to be open to that.
Yeah, I think, you hit the nail on the head there. It's like, and sometimes you just have to be okay with, I'm just going to ride this player out. Like, I'm going to get like them in my team for this because I'm going to need them to win in this window that I've got. And, you know, I could sell them now for like 2 firsts, and next year they're probably only going to be worth a first. But actually, I'd rather a championship rather than an extra first. So I'm going to keep this guy.
Especially the running back position. To me, that's a position where, like, there were guys buying Todd Gurley, and that was it. Like, you bought that Todd Gurley that year for a championship, and that was it. David Johnson, same thing. There's certain guys that you buy for a championship, and sometimes they're not going to give that to you. Like, I know in one league, and this was a bad call on me, I bought Mike Davis with the opportunity in Atlanta, and it failed. I sold a 2nd-round pick for the guy. I didn't think it was bad. I was like, the opportunity's there. Whatever, he's going to be my 3rd RB. He's going to be a flex play. He was horrible. I don't think I ever played him. I think I tried him the first 3 weeks because I wanted to see, you know, maybe it's a slow ramp up. Maybe he'll get there. It just never came to fruition. But some guys you end up getting stuck with. Not everybody's going to constantly have a value, but you need to know the correct values and the right time to sell, or the pieces that you need. It's also about knowing your roster and what you need. There's so many pieces of advice I could give when talking about trades and when dealing with trades. But those 3 are 3 really big ones to me. Being able to ship value, being able to negotiate. Because I know there's some people I talk to, it's a firm stance on specific players or a firm stance on a value. And you lose a willingness of people to come to you to try and make a trade when you stand firm and you're like, I want 3 firsts. I don't want players. I don't want this. I'm rebuilding. And you sit there and you're like, but 3 firsts for me, I only have 1 every year. I'm out of first for the next 3 seasons for this one player. No, but I would be willing to give you 2 firsts in this player or a player of this type of value. If there's no willingness to it, then you're never going to get the right deals done. It's all, trading is an art, and it's about knowing the values, the ability to shift values and change values and adapt to the market.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. And, you know, it's great advice, especially, you know, you're right, for this time of year when people are trading left, right, and center. Most rookie drafts are sort of wrapped up, so people are trying to build their roster now, going into next season. So, Connor, I love that as 3 hints and tips. And thank you so much for watching today's video. Remember, like this video, leave a comment if you want, and subscribe to the channel. These videos are going to be coming thick and fast, so you don't want to miss anything. So that's it for today. In the meantime, keep yourselves, keep your teams lit. We'll see you next time.